Hey buddies, I'm Swuggy here, coming at you with another Borderlands 3 video. Today I want to talk about the new Vault Card 3 Legendaries that just came out. One of the newest ones that just came out is going to be Creeping Corruption. Now the Creeping Corruption is actually a pretty cool gun that we haven't seen quite before. So on kill, these corruptions will spread to nearby enemies. The infected enemies will take 33% more damage, and this can stack up to 3 times, aka translating to 2 times more damage, which is really nice. But before we get into the more specific details about this weapon, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You have no idea how much helps me out, and let's get into it.
Legendary? Whoa! No way, dude!
So first things first, the interesting thing about these projectiles is that these projectiles are actually able to travel through walls and grounds. So right there, this projectile just went through the ground right there and latched onto that enemy. So let's see if we can't get it to go through a couple of other barriers along the way as we kill these enemies. The damage that this gun can deal is actually pretty decent. I would say that it's definitely lacking the first time you use it because it doesn't have any debuffs on, but as soon as you have a debuff on the enemy, the damage starts racking up considerably faster than some other weapons we have here. So right there, if you saw for a few seconds that projectile actually went through that wall very slightly. So let me kill this enemy right behind this wall and it'll probably be easier to see. So this projectile just came out, went through the wall, and attached to these enemies right here. Now I really want you guys to be able to see this projectile being able to go through walls because I feel like that is a pretty good effect on this debuff weapon that other debuff weapons doesn't actually give you. So I'm going to go over here, which has a decent amount of walls, and hopefully we can see a really good example on the corruption actually going through walls. Now, I don't know if you guys saw that, but it went right through this billboard and it latched onto the enemy that I just killed. So that is actually really neat that it's able to travel through walls. There isn't any other debuffs or any projectiles in the game that I can think of that goes through walls that comes from guns. But if you guys correct me in the comments down below, I would deeply appreciate that. But one of the other key things about this debuff is that it lasts a total of 40 seconds, which is really good. 40 seconds is a pretty long time to add to a gun debuff. I'd say most debuffs in the game last around 15, maybe 12 seconds. So having a debuff that lasts a total of 40 seconds is really cool. Another cool aspect that helps you see whether or not there is a debuff on the enemy is that when you kill the enemy and the debuff actually hits the enemy, like right here, you'll notice that when it actually hits the enemy, like right here, you'll notice that it starts glowing green and has a corrosive dot on him. Now these corrosive dots do last 40 seconds, like I said, which is really awesome. And it does allow us to deal a considerable amount of damage compared to how much damage we were dealing before. Now, if I were to compare this to other debuff weapons like the Eruption or even the It's Piss Grenade, I wouldn't say it's that great. The debuff that is applied to the enemy does work with other weapons, so you can switch to any weapon you want. It even increases the amount of grenade damage I dealt. I haven't tested to see if it actually increased the action skill damage, but let's see right here if it does at all. So right now this guy has a debuff on him. I'm going to hit him with Rack Tack. That did 6 million damage, and on a regular rack it deals 5 million damage and 4 million damage right there. So the 33% might be a bit skewed on action skill hits because I didn't see too much of an increase on weapon hit damage, but 33% is a pretty good debuff to put on any enemy you want on demand, basically by just killing enemies with this gun in hand. You don't have to do any gimmicks in general to apply the debuffs. Now if I were rating this gun based on just its gun damage, I wouldn't say the gun damage is actually too great. The gun damage is definitely okay. It's not like amazing, it's not the worst, but they probably had to balance it around the fact that they knew that there's going to be a 2 times damage increase on enemies after you stack the debuffs to max, so they probably balance it around there. But I would definitely like to see if this weapon got a buff because I wouldn't honestly expect it to be seen in a lot of builds. But it is only day 1, so perhaps someone could see if there's any other ways to optimize the damage on this. And if you guys want to see the other vault card legendaries, don't forget to click on the top right where there'll be links to the other 3 videos as well. But that's all I have for you today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him up with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. War in a cave with a torch on a wall, then a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.